Starting off with number 10, the rebrand. Queen Camilla. Many never thought it would actually come to this, but after the coronation of King Charles and his beloved wife, it's official that Camilla has completely rebranded from when she was first introduced as a part of the royals. Tina Brown, the former Vanity Fair editor, told Page Six, Camillas is the greatest image rehab in history. She deserves a crown just for toughing it out. The crowning of Queen Camilla will be the culmination of a quarter of a century of intensive work by the king, their friends, and their counselors. Its most dramatic moment came last year when there was a sustained campaign to strong-arm Queen Elizabeth to endorse Camilla as queen consort shortly before her passing, multiple sources claimed. On February 5th, 2022, the eve of her platinum jubilee, the late queen wrote in a touching letter, "And when in the fullness of my time, my son Charles becomes king, I know you will give him and his wife Camilla the same support that you have given me, and it is my sincere wish that when that time comes, Camilla will be known as queen consort as she continues her own loyal service." She really finessed that. She really did. On to number 9, not accepted. According to Reader's Digest, Camilla and Prince Charles met in the early 1970s, and although their attraction was mutual, in some circles her reputation was frowned upon because she was known as an experienced woman. So then she went on to marry Andrew Parker in 1973 and has 2 children with him, Laura Lopez and Tom Parker Bowles. She also has 5 grandchildren who were a part of the coronation. After Charles and Diana divorced, and later after Diana passed away, Charles slowly started publicly introducing Camilla to the world as his partner. Diana famously told the BBC in a landmark interview in 1995 that there were 3 of us in that marriage, so it was a bit crowded. It was rare for anyone in royal circles to speak about their personal lives, and it revealed first-hand details about their broken relationship. In 2005, Charles and Camilla got married in a civil ceremony followed by a blessing at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. They were not allowed to get married in the Church of England as they are both divorced, according to CBS News. Number 8, pet names. Not too much of a dark secret, but knowing the pet names royals have for each other is nothing less than interesting, especially considering this started during their affair. During the course of their romantic relationship, much of which was allegedly during Charles's marriage to Diana, the couple regularly referred to each other using pet names they had. According to Town and Country magazine, they called each other Fred and Gladys for years. The names were apparently inspired by the characters on BBC radio show The Goon Show. Evening Standard reported that they used these names in love letters to each other, and it was their attempt at keeping their relationship secret. The publication also stated that during Diana and Charles's honeymoon, Diana found love letters between Charles and Camilla. She also reportedly took issue with her new husband for wearing the cufflinks that Camilla gifted him engraved with CNC for Charles and Camilla. Honestly, Charles was really much a savage for that. I can't even lie to you. But anyway, number 7, disapproval from the Queen. The extramarital affair between Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla rocked the crown to its core and put the final nail in the coffin of Princess Diana and Prince Charles's strained marriage. This is something that is well known to everyone. The prince's mother, Queen Elizabeth, was furious more than anyone else. For some time, no one was permitted to enter the palace, including the Duchess. In point of fact, the current monarch had refused to meet her prior to the year 2000, so she only met the Queen in that year. But at the reception for the Duchess and Prince, the Queen did say they have overcome Becker's Brook and the chair and all kinds of other obstacles. Extremely proud of them, wish them success now that they have prevailed, blah, 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 blah. On to number 6, friends with Charles's wife. Before Diana learned that her fiance was in love with another woman, she and Camilla were good friends. She even anticipated that she would be a part of her social circle following the royal wedding. Diana, on the other hand, realized before she and Charles got married that Charles still had a flame for his former partner, even though she was married at the time. Princess Diana stated that she wondered if Camilla was making a mistake when she saw her in the church on her wedding day. In her words, as a result, as I was walking down the aisle, Camilla in her gray pillbox hat and her son Tom standing on a chair caught my eye. Andrew Morton, Diana's biographer, recollected her saying, "You know, vivid memory to this day." Number 5, the worst kept affair. After a publicly disaster marriage, Diana and Charles split up in 92 and got a divorce in 96. One of their main disagreements was his open affair with Camilla, which was the monarchy's worst kept secret. Diana told Martin Bashir in the infamous Panorama interview, "There were 3 of us, so it was a little crowded. However, this is what actually happened. After being advised by friends to ignore suspicions of an affair between Prince Charles and friend Camilla, Princess Diana felt that she had to give her husband's mistress a piece of her mind, according to recordings from National Geographic that have been archived. When they approached Camilla about the affair, Charles and Diana appeared to have been aware of what they were getting themselves into. Camilla and Prince Charles were conversing with a different friend downstairs when Diana asked to talk to her alone. According to the recording, Diana remembered Charles rushing upstairs to inquire about her plans. Diana had this man shaking and throwing up. Little did he know, she already knew. Despite the Princess of Wales' assertion that she was terrified of Camilla, Diana boldly stated to her, "I'd just like you to know that I know exactly what is going on." Camilla tried to disprove the claim by claiming she had no idea what Diana was talking about, and Diana recalled Camilla saying that she had everything she could ever want and all the men in the world. When asked what else she could want, Diana simply told Camilla, "I just want my husband." It's important not to overlook these little-known details about Charles and Diana. Strangely, Diana apologized to Camilla for interfering with her and Charles, but she remained furious. She stated, "I do know what is going on to Camilla. Please do not treat me like an idiot." Diana and Charles split up and started seeing other people while they were still married, and Diana had a number of relationships, including one with the heart surgeon Hasnat Khan, and later Dodi Al Fayed, the man she was dating when they passed away. Charles remained with Camilla during this time, and the undertaking of Prince Charles is known to the overall population. However, by attending and leaving separate events, he and Camilla attempted to conceal their relationship. Number 4, spilling the beans. If Diana had survived and gotten married as expected, Charles and Camilla probably would have married much earlier. Instead, they kept their relationship private and out of the public eye for a number of years. The Prince of Wales married his longtime partner in 2005, and even though she technically had the option to do so out of respect for Diana, she did not style her name as Princess of Wales. Number 3, what is the staff hiding? Prince Charles's affair with Camilla was once kept a secret from Diana, even by the cleaning staff. At least they tried to. Followers of the royal family are aware of the Prince of Wales' affair with the Duchess of Cornwall, which took place while Charles was married to Diana, and it's safe to assume that some members of the royal family are unhappy that their affair is featured in Netflix's The Crown, making it one of the most significant royal relationship scandals. But it would have been harder to find juicy details about their affair if it wasn't for The Crown, so can't even be mad about it. In 1995, the Prince's valet Ken Stronach revealed shocking details about Charles's affair in a well-known interview with News of the World. He even lost his job because he broke confidentiality. At the time, Stronach claimed that after Charles would sneak out of bed in the middle of the night to meet with Camilla, he would clean grass stains from his pajamas. He mentioned how he was careless and took a big risk, but he doesn't even care about Diana. Ouch. After Charles's midnight romps, a source claimed that there was mud and muck everywhere, and they had clearly been working outside, which was evident. Charles even ruffled up his bed with his staff to make it look like he had slept in it. Even though it was very complicated, no one was fooled. The valet asserted that the strain of keeping Charles's secrets made him sick. During his time with Charles, he told the newspaper, "We've all been told not to speak to anyone about anything due to the strain of keeping his secrets. I became very ill." It's clear that the firm still doesn't like to talk about this royal stuff, even though Prince Charles has admitted to the affair and married Camilla. Number 2, unfit for the king. In the early 70s, Charles and Camilla first met. After friends introduced them, the prince fell in love right away. In her book, The Duchess, royal biographer Penny Jura wrote, "Camilla claims that the Duchess was not in any way overawed by him, not fawning or sycophantic." After the prince left with the Royal Navy in 1973, Parker Bowles accepted the proposal from her on and off boyfriend Andrew, despite the strong bond they had. But the palace didn't think Camilla would be a good fit for the king. Even if things had worked out well for the two of them, she did not come from an aristocratic family, which was important in those days, but look at who came out on top. Now she's the queen. And finally, number 1, the big affair. Even though it's not a secret, Camilla was trying to hide a high-profile affair from the whole world. Charles and Camilla made every effort to keep their extramarital affair from Diana and the rest of the world, despite the fact that the Princess of Wales was well aware of it. Before Diana and Charles filed for divorce, Camilla was regarded as a villain. She was also resented right up until the Princess of Wales' untimely passing in 1997. However, in the days that followed that tragic incident, Camilla's life went significant change. Princess Diana's misfortune was not specifically attributed to the Duchess of Cornwall. They did, however, discover a newfound hatred for her greatest foe after Diana's passing in the car accident. Camilla was forced to hide for months as the situation got worse because of the hatred. Starting off with number 10, slow developer. Prince Charles is Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's firstborn child, and though the royal couple and the public were thrilled when he was born, the young prince proved to be a disappointment from the beginning. Constantly sick with sinus infections and known for bursting into tears, his parents thought he might be a slow developer. The New Yorker reported his mother, whom he would later describe as not indifferent so much as detached, worried that he was a slow developer. His father, Prince Philip, thought him weedy, effete, and spoiled. But despite his parents' concerns, Charles proved to be a dedicated, hardworking prince. He was an early proponent of environmentalism and organic farming. He also wrote books on architecture and public service, all while being the longest-serving heir apparent in British history. So perhaps Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip were wrong about their son after all. He may not have been the perfect prince they wanted, but turned out to be a hardworking, dedicated heir to the throne. You could say that Charles was ready, even if it didn't seem like at first. On to number 9, Princess Diana's fall during pregnancy. It's not unknown that Princess Diana struggled while trying to find her place in the royal family, and her mental health needs were not met. Diana is said to have thrown herself down the stairs while pregnant with Prince William, according to The Independent. She had morning sickness throughout the pregnancy and also struggled with an eating disorder. In the documentary, Diana, in her own words, she says, "Charles said I was crying wolf, and I said I felt so desperate and I was crying my eyes out. And he said, I'm not gonna listen, you're always doing this to me. I'm going riding now. So I threw myself down the stairs." Luckily, neither Diana nor her unborn were injured in the fall. Though it's difficult to talk about such a traumatic experience, we can be grateful that this incident ended fortunately and that Princess Diana was able to power through and raise 2 beautiful boys. Still, Diana's story is an example of how important it is for pregnant women to have a strong support system, to be taken seriously when seeking mental health support, and to know it's okay to ask for help. It's a reminder that no one is alone in their struggles, not even royalty. On to number 8, Prince Harry's day in rehab. After admitting to his father, Prince Charles, that he tried some herbal substance on numerous occasions and participated in underage drinking, the 17-year-old Prince Harry was sent to a drugs rehab clinic for a 1-day stay, according to the Telegraph. An official at St. James's Palace said it was a way to learn about the possible consequences of starting to take said substance. When Prince Harry arrived, he was greeted by Dr. Eileen Sternberg and a specially assembled team of doctors who gave him a tour of the facility, which included a rehab area where he met with recovering addicts, observed group therapy sessions, and discussed addiction issues with counselors. Before leaving, he also took part in an educational exercise to help him understand the physical and psychological effects of substance use. At the end of his day in rehab, Prince Harry seemed to grasp the damaging potential of substance use and was reportedly thankful for having had such a personal experience. He returned home with newfound knowledge about addiction and its consequences, and appreciation for those who've suffered through it, and a newfound respect for rehab centers and the services they provide. Who knows, maybe someday Prince Harry can lend his voice to helping others learn about addiction too. Number 7, lack of sensitivity. Since Prince Charles didn't exactly like Princess Diana, he wasn't all that sensitive to his teenage bride, especially before their wedding. Before she passed away, Princess Diana spoke openly about her struggles with eating disorders. She explained, "The bulimia started the week after we got engaged. My husband put his hand on my waistline and said, 'Oh, bit chubby here, aren't we?' And that triggered something in me." According to Elizabeth Emanuel, Princess Diana's rapid weight loss made her wedding dress fitting almost impossible. Emanuel explained, "We put it down to nerves, but it did make it incredibly difficult for us to get on with making the dress. We had to keep taking the bodice in and changing the pattern. The last thing we wanted was to make it up in silk, then have to play around with that." Clearly, Prince Charles wasn't aware of the impact his insensitive remarks were having on his young bride. It's sad to think that this might have been one of the contributing factors to Diana's eventual battle with an eating disorder. Thankfully, Princess Diana was brave enough to speak about her struggles and inspire others to seek help with their own mental health issues. It's a reminder that words can have a powerful effect, and we should all be careful to use them wisely. On to number 6, Mother Wars. We all know that Queen Elizabeth keeps it regal and cute. Therefore, after the news of Prince Charles's affair hit the media, his relationship with his mother was strained for quite some time. In fact, until the mid-2000s, the Queen refused to be in Duchess Camilla's presence. However, since then, it seems like the two have put their differences aside and are getting along just fine. It's good to see that the Queen can forgive and forget when it comes to matters of the heart. And after all, she was a queen, not a cold-hearted ruler. Who said royalty can't show their emotions? The Queen proved that there is always hope for reconciliation. Number 5, Tampon Gate. During their rocky marriage, both Diana and Charles carried on affairs. Prince Charles's most well-known affair was with his now wife and Queen Camilla Parker Bowles. In 1992, a kinky phone conversation between the two, who were both married to other people at the time, leaked. During the phone conversation, the future King of England said he wanted to live inside Camilla's trousers as a pair of boxers or a Tampax. Naturally, the British tabloids had a heyday with the scandalous news. If you ask us, Charles could have used a better pickup line. But, as I say, romance is never easy, especially when it's in front of millions of people. Talk about a pressure cooker. But the rest is history. Charles and Camilla are now married, living happily ever after, and King and Queen of England. We guess that pickup line wasn't so bad after all. Now we just have to wait for the tabloids to dig up some juicy secrets between Harry and Meghan. Until then, we'll just have to content ourselves with the sometimes not so charming words of Prince Charles. And number 4, an affair to remember. From the very beginning, Princess Diana was aware of Prince Charles's inappropriate relationship with Duchess Camilla. But despite Diana's reservations, Charles's current wife was also at their wedding. The princess said in an interview, "I remember saying to my husband, you know, why is this lady around?" And he said, "Well, I refuse to be the only Prince of Wales who never had a mistress." The story of Diana and Charles's turbulent marriage has been well documented in the media. From a public image perspective, Princess Diana was seen as a role model for women everywhere. She could do no wrong, yet behind closed doors, it was apparent that then Prince Charles did not feel the same way about his wife. With the world watching their every move, it was only a matter of time before the truth caught up with them. In 1996, Charles and Diana publicly announced their divorce. To this day, their story continues to fascinate people around the globe and serves as an example of how complicated relationships can be. By 1981, the crowd deemed it time for Charles to get married. Though he had dated Diana's older sister previously, the prince became engaged to 19-year-old Lady Diana Spencer. The duo didn't know each other very well, nor were they in sync. Still, the royals and public felt it was a good match. Number 3, wedding woes. Unfortunately, it was never meant to be. According to Sally Beadle Smith's novel Prince Charles, The Passions and Paradoxes of an Improbable Life, they were too unalike, and on his wedding eve, he wept. He was still in love with Camilla, a woman who was vivacious, irreverent, indifferent to fashion and style, unassuming, and affectionate. Though the couple separated in '92, divorced a few years later, Charles and Diana made history with their wedding. It was televised for 750 million viewers worldwide and hailed as the greatest show on earth. That isn't to say it wasn't without its fair share of drama. There were 2 receptions. The prince was late arriving at the ceremony, and Charles even wore his mother's tiara. The royal wedding day was one of a kind. Who else can say they had their own cartoon character in attendance? That would be Prince Charles and Lady Diana. No matter what happened between them since then, it's hard to deny that their fairy tale wedding impacted the world everywhere. After all, it's not every day you see a prince and princess tie the knot. Number 2, wrong woman. Prince Charles met Camilla in the 70s and fell helplessly in love with her. However, Camilla was not considered royal material since she was known to be experienced. When Charles was away fulfilling some of his naval duties, Camilla got engaged and eventually married to her on and off again beau, Andrew. Though the prince was still friendly with the couple, he was said to be distraught by their marriage and he refused to attend their wedding. But he was not one to give up so easily. After all, his grandmother was a famously devoted wife, and Charles knew that if he wanted Camilla, he had to fight for her, even if it took decades. Eventually, the pair reunited after her divorce. And ever since, the couple has been living happily ever after, much to the delight of royal fans everywhere. Who says grand love stories never come true? And if you're still curious about how Charles and Camilla's romance blossomed, take a look at their engagement portrait, which was featured on the cover of British Vogue in 2005. It's clear to see that the couple are head over heels in love with each other. So if you ever find yourself doubting the power of true love, just remember Charles and Camilla's story. No matter how long it takes, never give up on what your heart desires. Number 1, false image. Since Charles is now King of England, the crown wanted to make sure the king had a certain image in his youth. In fact, despite the then prince's shyness, it seemed like he was quite the ladies' man. However, it was all false, conducted by the press and his team. At the time, the prince's great uncle Lord Mountbatten told Time that the prince was forever popping in and out of bed with a girl. That wasn't the case at all. In fact, the prince would later denounce that image and explain how and why he resented it so much. Starting off with number 10, her drinking problem. King Charles is said to be on high alert regarding Camilla's drinking issues, which have gotten him into a lot of trouble. Charles had already persuaded his late mother not to push him aside in favor of his son, Prince William, and beloved Kate, and began by describing some trust issues that exist between King Charles and Camilla. Camilla wasn't satisfied with the title of Princess Consort, which Charles had promised to her when they got married in 2005. She has always aspired to be queen. Her Majesty did not approve until Charles allegedly pulled out his ace card. This put Charles on red alert about Queen Camilla's excessive drinking. Before coming to a conclusion, the informant also stated he knows Camilla is a loose cannon who's fallen off the wagon many times before and caused him untold embarrassment. Number 9, Prince William's thoughts on her. Since their marriage, Camilla has remained a prominent member of the royal family. However, stepchildren Princes William and Harry have maintained strict boundaries regarding their relationship. Prince William allegedly has made it very clear that the new queen consort will never replace his late mother, Princess Diana. Camilla was very direct about how his children were with Camilla. William made it clear that Camilla is the wife of his father, but not a step-grandmother to his children. The royal couple's 3 children are aware that they have 2 grandfathers, but only 1 grandmother. Camilla had never assumed any responsibility for the children of the Cambridges, especially considering the closeness of Catherine's parents, Carol and Michael Middleton. Number 8, Prince Harry. In his recent memoir, Spare, Prince Harry's portrayal of his stepmother, Camilla, Queen Consort, is perhaps the most critical. Despite the fact that Charles and Camilla had been romantically involved on and off for decades, they got married even after Harry and William begged Charles to reconsider. Prince Harry has not forgotten that Princess Diana referred to Camilla as the 3rd person in her marriage. Harry once said that the tabloids had portrayed her as the villain. In their union, she was the 3rd person and needed to improve her appearance. The 2 brothers did not consider it necessary and thought it would do more harm than good. They still wanted their father to be happy, but they never expected them to get married. Harry stated because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image and the connections she was making within the British press that made her dangerous. Additionally, there was a clear willingness on both sides to exchange information. Harry claimed that Camilla and even his father used him or William to get better coverage in the tabloids for themselves. That's what you're gonna do if you're led to believe as a member of the family that being on the front page, having positive headlines and positive stories written about you is gonna improve your reputation or increase the chances of you being accepted as monarch by the British public, Harry stated. Number 7, public reaction. Camilla is unlikely to be forgiven for her role in the breakdown of the Wales marriage because of Diana's legacy, which has won her a new generation of admirers. In the early 90s, when Charles appeared to confirm rumors that he had been having an affair during an interview with Jonathan Dimbleby in 1994, Camilla became a person of interest to the British press. Charles stated that Camilla had been a friend for a very long time and will continue to be a friend for a very long time. The sovereign conceded to being dedicated to Diana just until his marriage had hopelessly separated. Diana herself stated on BBC's Panorama that there were 3 of us in the marriage, so it was a bit crowded. When confronted with the question of whether Camilla had been directly involved in the breakdown of her marriage in later 1996. According to Susanna Reid, host of Good Morning Britain, most people have forgotten about the breakdown of the marriage and they love her now, and the Queen has sort of anointed her future queen consort. Royston shared his thoughts about how he doesn't think they have moved on. People in the 90s were on Diana's side in this dispute, and the younger generations that are growing up now feel the same way. But how do you feel about this? Let me know in the comments. Royston went on to say they adore Diana, her legacy, her humanitarian spirit, warmth, and kindness, and they believe she was essentially the victim of injustice. Royston came to the conclusion that people still have a problem with Charles marrying Diana and exposing her to the rigors of royal life at such a young age before having an affair with Camilla. Number 6, blindsided princes. It is said that Prince Harry and William were blindsided by their late grandmother's decision to approve of her title as Queen Consort. According to Christopher Anderson, a royal expert and author, the decision was a driving wedge within the royal family. Although it's said that William and Harry are now friendly with Camilla, Prince Charles, their father, has a long history of having an affair with her in the 80s and 90s while he was still married to their mother, Princess Diana. After they split in 1992 and divorced in 96, Charles and Camilla tied the knot in 2005 and Diana passed away in a car accident in 1997. According to Anderson, she was begrudgingly letting him do this, and one of the key elements was he promised Camilla would never be called Queen Consort. Her Majesty was miserable during Charles' second marriage ceremony. The late queen was skeptical about Camilla when she married Charles, and the circumstances were certainly challenging. However, through her dedication and loyalty to the firm, she has more than proved to the family that she has what it takes. Camilla grew closer to Elizabeth, upped her game, and accepted additional responsibilities willingly. After the queen's longtime husband and consort Prince Philip passed away, Anderson claims Charles was relentlessly pushing for Camilla to become Queen Consort. Anderson asserts Charles just wore her out on this too. Additionally, I believe that Charles has increased his efforts to demonstrate to the Queen he also requires a partner since Prince Philip's passing. Number 5. Social media trolls. The hateful posts about Camilla on social media have caused royal accounts to stop accepting comments. Ouch. The majority, it appears, remain on Team Diana today, with Instagram comments saying Princess Diana forever or Camilla, you're hated by everyone. Following the Netflix series The Crown, a comment was made about how the Netflix television show is nothing more than just a show. 3 people, including the children, suffered as a result of Charles and Diana's arranged marriage. And although the television shows don't accurately depict history because they focus primarily on entertainment, the portrayal of her family may have given viewers a taste of what had been going on all along. Royal experts say the dislike of Camilla will always persist. She is without a doubt extremely valuable and contributes significantly, but also, of course, as the king's ideal partnership. However, a portion of the public will always dislike Camilla because the memory of Princess Diana will never completely go away. The issue here is that anything Diana related that appears in the media frequently triggers recollections of the past. Given Diana's return in the past, there will undoubtedly always be a segment of society that is far from in love with Camilla. Number 4 made it to the memoir. In Harry's memoir, Camilla makes the list of things he brings up. Harry may be subjected to pressure to reveal the identity of the individual who, according to him and Meghan, made racially insensitive remarks regarding the color of their son's skin. I haven't read the memoirs yet, so this could very well be the case right now. Burrell said Harry might feel the need to speak out about Camilla because she broke up his parents' marriage. He'll probably elaborate on how he felt following his mother's passing and the events after. The former royal staffer stated he's already said he enjoys the crown, which painted Camilla as the wicked stepmother in a way. Burrell also said that Harry's father would be livid if he said anything negative about Camilla. Number 3, other royals. Camilla was viewed negatively by the royals, but Diana was received with open arms. Camilla was not wanted by the royal family as his princess, and for one thing, she was thought to be an experienced woman, which made her a no-go for the royal family when it came to finding Prince Charles a wife. In addition, she was not thought to be sufficiently aristocratic to be a princess. The impact of Diana's passing. Commentators were almost unanimous in their belief that Charles would never marry Camilla even if she had been his love of his life, despite the national outrage and finger-pointing over Diana's passing. At the time, respondents to a television poll said that Charles should not become king if he married Camilla. After passing, one mourner said Camilla should leave the country as she laid flowers outside the princess's house. None of this would have happened without the mistress. The public seemed to point the finger directly at Camilla and label her the mistress who caused this. Number 1, mental health concerns. Diana faced so many problems during her time as a working royal, it even took a toll on her mental health, causing bulimia among other health issues. Being Charles' second wife, who did not have the public approval of the same way Diana did, I think her transition into becoming queen consort is going to be easy for her considering the amount of people who still do not approve of her. Both the king and Camilla have shared ancestors dating back to the 17th century. And strangely enough, they are also both related to the late Princess Diana through shared ancestry dating back to King Charles II. It also might be important to note that Camilla's great-grandmother was a mistress to King Edward VII, the great-great-grandfather of King Charles. What a tangled web of royal relations. It's enough to make your head spin. In addition to the royal family tree, there are a few other interesting details that make the Charles-Camilla relationship even more unique. For one, they share similar interests. Both of them are passionate about horse racing and outdoor activities such as hill walking and cycling. Secondly, both of them are committed to preserving the British countryside and its wildlife. No matter how you look at it, Charles and Camilla's relationship is an impressive example of a modern-day royal love story for the ages. The fact that they have managed to stay in love amidst all the complexities that come with being part of such an illustrious family is a testament to their strong bond. On to number 9, not mentioning his ex to Diana. Yup, Diana thought Charles and Camilla were just friends and found out about their history only after she said yes to the proposal, the Duchess Camilla Parker Bowles, and the love affair that rocked the crown. One of the excerpts say, instead of explaining to Diana at the outset that Camilla was an old girlfriend, he had presented her as nothing more than a friend. It didn't occur to him, apparently, that she needed to know before someone else told her. He came clean after the engagement, admitting that Camilla had been one of his most intimate friends, but reassured Diana that from now on, there would be no other woman. Well, we all know how that played out. On to number 8, Diana and Camilla's date. To start off, no, Charles and Diana did not actually meet at the Ménage à Trois restaurant. That is only the crown trolling all of us. In addition, it appears that the show took some creative liberties with the specifics of their conversation, meaning nobody knows precisely the exact thing these two discussed, and there's no verification Camilla uncovered that her and Charles' monikers for one another were Fred and Gladys. However, as a result of Andrew Morton's book, Diana, Her Own Words, Her True Story, we do know that Camilla tried to learn more about Charles and Diana's relationship. On to number 7, Confronting Camilla. As per Morton, Diana faced Camilla at a birthday celebration saying, "I know what's going on between you and Charles, and I just want you to know that." Camilla replied with, "You've got everything you ever wanted, you've got all the men in the world fall in love with you, and you've got 2 beautiful children, what more do you want?" And Diana said this in return. Then Diana ended the conversation by apologizing to Camilla for being in the way, saying, "It must be hell for both of you, but I do know what's going on. Don't treat me like an idiot." Tell him, Diana. On to number 6, the proposal. On February 6, Charles proposes to Diana. According to one report, he proposed in Camilla's garden. When a television interviewer asks him and Diana if they are in love, he makes a slightly jarring comment after the news broke on February 24, with Diana blushing, responding, "Of course," and Charles continues with whatever in love means. However, in an interview with a newspaper at the time, he sounds more in love. "I feel positively delighted and frankly amazed that Di is prepared to take me on." They got married in St. Paul's Cathedral on July 29 with an estimated 750 million people watching around the world, and oh yeah, Camilla reportedly was present. What is a good wedding without your ex being there, who you also have an affair with? On to number 5, Tampon Gate. A not-so-secret affair and a joke about tampons became Tampon Gate decades ago, a shady scandal that wreaked havoc on the royal family, particularly on the current King Charles. A few royals and their connections have been tormented by discussions and terrible press, including the marriage of then Sovereign Charles III and Princess Diana of Ridges. A recorded call between a wedded Sovereign Charles and his long-term paramour, Camilla, who was likewise hitched at that point, on December 17, 1989 prompted what became known as Tampon Gate and pushed the relationship into the worldwide spotlight. Number 4, threatened by Diana. According to a previous report from Insider, Diana stated that she believed She was a threat to Camilla when they first met in 1980. According to Town & Country magazine, which cited Andrew Morton's book Diana, The Life and Times of Diana, Camilla made a request to have lunch with Diana shortly after Charles's engagement was announced. In her own words, her real story, a quote says, "Such exciting news about the engagement. Do let's have lunch soon when the Prince of Wales goes to Australia and New Zealand. He's gonna be away for 3 weeks. I'd love to see the ring. Lots of love, Camilla," she wrote in a letter to Diana per Morton's book. On to number 3, Notorious Mistress. By 1986, Charles had revived his not really calm sentiment with Camilla. Insider recently detailed. According to Morton and Camilla's biographer, Penny Jr., who described Camilla as the most notorious mistress in the world, both Diana and Andrew, Camilla's husband, were aware of the affair. In 1986, Diana also started a series of affairs, one of which was with cavalry officer James Hewitt. During a 1995 meeting, Diana confessed to the issue, saying she revered and was enamored with Hewitt, as indicated by Town & Country magazine. The public perception of Camilla was incredibly negative following Charles and Diana's divorce. Even before the royal divorce, questions lingered about Prince Charles's future relationships, as the Church of England did not permit divorced people to remarry so long as their previous spouse was still living, according to the New York Times. Charles wanted to introduce Camilla to the world as his girlfriend shortly after the divorce, an effort that was waylaid by Diana's tragic passing in 1997, according to The Guardian. Number 2, phone call transcripts. In the wake of the separation announcement, multiple media outlets published the Tampon Gate tape transcript. Some outlets referred to the tape as Camilla Gate in reference to Charles's mistress. Others speculated whether the tape would prevent Charles from someday ascending to the throne. The public interest was so rapt that people could call a phone number to listen to the tape of the actual phone call. Dominic West, who played Prince Charles in season 5 of The Crown, told Entertainment Weekly. A full transcript of the call depicts Charles and Camilla playing the age-old lovers' game of refusing to hang up the phone on one another at the end of the call. And finally, number 1, the crowded marriage. Diana gave a tell-all interview to the BBC in 1995 in which she spoke openly about Charles's affair while admitting to her own affairs as well. She also discussed her health issues, including postpartum depression and bulimia, according to Town & Country magazine. In her words, "There were 3 of us in the marriage, and so it was a bit crowded," the princess famously said, referencing Camilla without naming her. The interview would later be revealed to have been obtained unethically by the BBC's Martin Bashir, but it still sent shockwaves through the royal atmosphere. But that is all for today. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more news on your favorite royals and celebrities. I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.